organization. Our mission is to share information that raise capital consciousness in our community. And for the past 16 years, we have been doing that. Please go to our website and check out our Father and Son Red Tie Luncheon. It's one of our signature events when we bring together fathers and sons, grandfathers and grandsons, mentors and mentees for the sole purpose of connections. And a couple of activities that we have, one is breaking of the bread. When we gather together men in a safe atmosphere, we allow them to share their hurt, their pain, and their successes so that through collaboration and community, we can encourage each other, empower each other to pursue whatever God endeavor that has been placed on their heart. And with the fathers and sons, we have a couple of activities that allow them to share a deeper bond with each other that goes beyond parenting. Dr. Frank.
Amen. Amen. Lord, I thank you, Jesus. Lord, I thank you, Jesus. Lord, I thank you for all the days of my life. Let me be quiet for they're gonna want to just hear me sing the whole the whole segment. So let me be quiet. I don't want to get them hooked on my singing. So I want to thank each and every one of you all for coming on tonight. Like I said, I'm sure there's many things that you all could be doing, but y'all took time out you all busy schedule to be able to come on here on the Force of One tonight to be able to educate our audience. So that's love. That's love. Whenever you speak freely from the heart, to be able to help people, that speaks volume. That's what put a smile on God's face. And also put a smile on God, on my face. Whenever you love God people, you got my attention. You got my attention. So I just want to thank you all from the depths of my heart for coming on tonight. And Brother Strong, you know how I feel about you, man. And I just love you, and I just love your heart, man. You have a heart of gold, man. And so and I really, really, really appreciate that, man. And so I'm just praying and trusting that each and every one out there in a YouTube world, in Facebook world, I'm praying and trusting that you all have y'all pen and pad ready to take good corporate note. And when you're taking these notes, you're not just taking these notes for yourself. You're taking these notes so not only you can benefit, you're taking these notes so you can be able to help someone else. Because that's what life is all about. Life is all about taking notes. Because anytime when you're taking notes, you're not necessarily taking note for yourself. You're taking note for the ones that coming behind you. Because when you're taking notes, you're leaving so much. That's legacy. When you're taking notes, that's legacy. Like when my wife passed, I'm sitting back here looking at a lot of her journey, her journals and everything, man. I see a lot of stuff that she was saying in there about the old boy right here. And I said, darn, this girl love me more than I thought she did. So that's what note taking is all about. Journeying is about the ones that coming behind you. And so I just want to thank each one of you. I can't emphasize that enough how appreciative I am for you all coming on tonight. And so I'm praying, trusting that each and every one out there, I'm praying, trusting that you will hit that share button. We just started our YouTube channel, and so we need to get it up. And so we asking each and every one of you to subscribe to our YouTube and encourage others to subscribe to our YouTube as well. Because we're doing all we can here at the Force of One to be able to help God's people. And that's what it's all about. And we all know during times like this, so many people just don't have no hope no more. They're losing hope. And so we got to be able to bring hope back. So that's why we're here. That's why we're here at Force One. That's why we do the things that we do. So I'm going to get out the way. So I'm going to get my pen and pad out. So I'm going to sit back. I'm going to turn it over to Kevin. And Kevin, this is your broadcast, man. This is your broadcast.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Once again, we want to thank
all you, man. Take it away. Go. I'm going to mute myself out now. I appreciate everything that you all doing. Keep up the great work.
All right.
I'm getting ready to invite some peoples too. Right. All right. Take it away, Kevin.
Can y'all hear me?
I hear you well.
Yes.
Okay. Want to just start off by saying good evening, everybody, and we thank God for another day. Dr. Frank, this here tonight was really inspired last week. Well, it's been on my mind for a while, but last week I came into work and I was sitting here at my desk, and as I usually come in the day, sometimes I open up, I try to read something, look at something spiritual, and kind of get my mind set for what it is I have to do for the day. And then as I was switching through, as I was shutting down, I came across an article about the rapper Jay-Z. And it said, a day in the life of Jay-Z. And I was like, all right, I'm not per se, quote unquote, a Jay-Z fan. I mean, I know he's from New York, but I respect his business mind and everything. So I said, well, let me take a look at it. So I took a look at it and I watched And by the time I got off of there looking at his life, the thing that came away from it all for me was this. He is as powerful as he is, and he has the kind of wealth that he has because of one word: collaborations. That brother knows how to bring people together and make things happen. So I asked myself a question. I said, well, Lord, if this is happening in the world, and I mean, I don't know what his faith is or his belief, I can't judge that. But I said, but why in the body of Christ don't we see this kind of wealth or this kind of collaboration? Why can't we come together and do the things we need to do in a collaboration format and helping people? So as I sat there and I pondered it, there were other organizations that came into my mind, and I'll be getting with them later on. But these two right here we have on tonight, I've had a chance to meet with them. Actually, Megan Giles had a chance to visit our site. Hey, Dr. Frank, the audience, the homes are serious. The environment is serious. They're doing some amazing things. So tonight, I want to let each one of these CEOs, in their own right, in their own way, whoever wants to, start out first, talk about the program, talk about the resources you have, and I also want you to talk about any needs that you may have, because sometimes when people have resources, we make the mistake of thinking they just have everything. There's nothing that they need, and that's not always true. Even those of us who have resources, sometimes we need things to make our resources even more enhanced. So having said that, ladies, it doesn't, whichever one of you want to go first, just start off telling us about your organization. Dr. Jessica Roberts, you want to start off first?
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Jessica Roberts. I'm Director of Empowering Men and Women on the Move for Reentry. And we are a supportive housing program. And I'm also CEO and founder of Empowering's sister organization, which is Your Second Chance Incorporated. So we're both supportive housing organizations. We're in Fulton County. And when I say supportive housing, we house justice impacted individuals or individuals dealing with homelessness, and we provide wraparound services. We do have a protocol, you must get approved for our program. So we do have an intake process. We service men 35 and up. Right now, our housing for women is on pause, but we do offer the resources for women. So just offering the resources, there's no age on it. You just have to be working age. But to be housed, you have to be 35 and up. And like I said, right now we're housing men and providing services for men, but our wraparound services are available for women only. We have been in existence since 2011. And our wraparound services are through partnerships in the community. We go, we network, and we create partnerships. So when someone enters our housing program, they're approved for our housing program. We already have guaranteed employment. They get medical free with us for a year. If they want to go back to school, get a degree, some type of certification, GED, anything like that, you name it, we have the resources.
Okay. Megan?
Oh, that's amazing, Miss Roberts. I love to hear that. And I want to connect after this to learn more about what you guys are
Thank
doing.
you.
But I am Megan Giles. I am the CEO and founder of Live Like Mike Homes. I started Live Like Mike Homes in 2024. I started it in honor of my little brother, Michael. He passed away in a car accident in 2021 at just 24 years old. At his celebration of life, everyone kept saying live like Mike. All of his friends kept saying live like Mike. And I asked what that meant. And they always said that he was a giving person, that he always gave back to his community, that he was there for his friends. And so I always knew I wanted to honor him. I always knew I wanted to do something for him. And so I started Live Like Mike Homes a couple of years later in 2024, where we provide transitional housing and we provide recovery housing as well. So for our transitional housing, it's anyone can come to us, anyone that has been youth that have aged out of foster care, people that are coming from reentry, anyone that has an eviction on their record, anything of that nature, that is who we service. It's private rooms in a home. And everything is always included in our base price of what we service for individuals. And then for our recovery homes, those are for individuals who want to stay sober from drugs and alcohol. And those we have partnered with different organizations in Atlanta, like Fulton County Accountability Court, PAD, and other resources, Chris 180. We operate off of their campus where they're able to provide food, they're able to provide therapy for our individuals and things of that nature. So we have 12 homes in Fulton County and DeKalb County, and we're still growing. We've been in operations for 2 years, and our goal is to grow not only here in Georgia, but back home in Florida, where I'm from, where Michael loved. And so just continuing the work that he would have done if he was still here on
Okay.
earth.
Now, what's the youngest age you guys take, Megan? Okay.
18. So we'll take yep. As long as you are an adult, we are able to take you.
Okay. All right. Now, Ms. Roberts, what has been, well, I want each one of you to kind of speak to this for a minute. What have been some of the challenges that you have found and as you've begun these services? We'll start with you, Ms. Roberts, because you've been doing it the longest. But what have been some of your biggest challenges in trying to serve the community through what you do?
Well, the biggest challenge, because we are a 501c3, we're a nonprofit. So the biggest challenge is funding. We because we do the work, we're boots on the ground, and we're small but we're mighty. So the biggest challenge is funding. We are privately funded. We get a little bit of state funding, but we're mainly privately funded. So just the funding, because the bigger entities, they get the funding. But at the end of the day, if sometimes they call us, for our bed spaces. So just funding, that has been the biggest challenge.
All right. What about you, Megan? Okay.
In our city,
Okay.
will fight. Can you hear me? There are
I hear you.
people. Okay, perfect. There are people who will fight what we're doing. Say if I buy a home and I'm wanting to house individuals, sometimes I'll get complaints from neighbors or not in my backyard. No one has ever been successful in arguing it, but I think one of the other issues is that we do have a not in our backyard situation where individuals do not understand that people do deserve second chances. So definitely funding, and then the lack of education that comes with our neighbors and people really just being privileged and not understanding that there are other people who need.
Okay. All right. So now I guess, we can all, like, even for the organization I work with, Georgia Works Workforce Development, we're a nonprofit as well too, and we don't take any money from the government whatsoever. We get all our money through donations, and I gotta admit, I gotta take my hat off to our CEO. She's amazing in terms of what she does to get money. I mean, this building we're in right now, 17 million. She raised that, and I mean that's well to be spoken to. So I guess my biggest thing right here then is, and either one of you can answer, is what do you think we need to do, or what can we do collectively to start to get people? I mean, we're starting here tonight with this broadcast, but I would think with the climate being what it is right now, and so many people in need, because people that need housing aren't just people that are homeless or people that are on drugs. People are losing their homes and losing apartments because so-called affordable rent ain't affordable. So,
Right.
I guess the thing that I'm trying to figure out right now then is, based on this alone, where do you think we can draw resources from places that maybe we haven't tapped or maybe we need to tap in order to make our organization strong?
Well, one of the key things you're speaking about is collaboration. Like just to truly collaborate, because I've been a part of core things, big settings where they say, we're going to collaborate, we're going to come together. But at the end of the day, is no collaboration because there's a lot of gatekeeping going on. So, but just to truly collaborate, because there's a lot of people out here that really need what we do. So, really, truly coming together, pouring out. You may have resources or been exposed to resources that I don't know about, and vice versa. But just stop all the gatekeeping and just really come together and truly collaborate for the betterment of the people.
Now, before we move to you, Megan, I want you to stay right there for a minute, Jessica. Why do you think there's so much gatekeeping?
Well, I mean, for several reasons. People don't want, they don't want, they figure somebody else is going to outdo them or do better than them, but it's not about that. And when you're for it's about the people, it's about the impact. So we can just put our egos aside, or put as too many, like the saying goes, too many chiefs and not enough Indians. But like I said, we all can come to the table with different expertise for the betterment and to really have an impact with in regards to helping people. So put the egos to the side. It's not about us. It's about the people. It's about the community. It's about helping the people.
Well, I'll tell you what, before I let Megan speak, I'm gonna do a Bernie Mac right here. I'm gonna say what you wouldn't say. It's about people being greedy. It's about people saying, look at me. It's about
Right.
people wanting to say, well, look what we do over here. And I agree with you. It's not about that. What I have found in my experience, and I've been doing this for 40 years, when you render services to people with sincerity and genuinely, and they honestly know you care, money ain't an issue. People
Right.
will support it and people will help it. But too much of that individuality. Megan, you want to speak to it?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's people seeing it as a competition. And it's not. I'll give you an example. I was talking to a guy, and I was like, he has been doing this for over 20 years. I've been doing it for two. I'm an attorney by trade. And so I've only really gotten into this because of the loss I had. And I was just asking for his mentorship and his guidance, and he was doing a lot of great things, and he still is doing a lot of good things for the community. But he was telling me, oh, I have a connection, and all of my guys get free food. We're able to get free food and things of that nature from this really good organization. I was like, oh, that's awesome. What's the name of the organization? I could, use that for my people. It's not for myself. It's for the people of the house. He said, oh, I'm not giving you that name. Oh, I'm not going to do that. And I'm like, well, you've been doing this for 20 years. At this point, I had only been doing it for one. I said, I'm not even your competition. At the time, I had maybe 4 houses. And I'm like, I'm new to this. I'm asking you for your help. It's not for me. I'm not eating the food. I'm not taking the food home. I'm trying to feed other people who may not have the resources. I'm trying to feed other people who may not be able to eat tonight. So I don't have to keep buying it out of my pocket where I'm like buying them noodles and stuff. And I'm like, that's not healthy. What's the resources? It's a big organization, like you say. He's like, oh no, I'm not sharing that information with you. So it's like you all said, it's competition. I've had people tell me several times that they're not going to give me information, that they're not going to help me. Figure it out. You'll be able to do it. You're so smart. You'll figure it out just like I did. And sometimes it's discouraging, but they're right. I am very smart, and I am going to figure it out. It may take me a little bit. I'm going to get it. I wish you would have told me, because I could have got it in 5 minutes instead of 30. I'm going to figure it out, but it's that. It's the sometimes I consider it, because I'm a younger, I consider it like an old school mentality where they want you to dig it out, like, just like they did. And for me, it's not like that. And so when people call me and they want to do what I'm doing, I'm like, sure, I'll give you a tour. Sure. Like, ask me any question. I may be busy. Shoot me a text. I'll answer it. You can send me, if you want to rent a house because you want to rent it out to veterans, I can let you know right now if the numbers are going to work, if it's not going to work, what you should do, where you should buy your bedding, how you should do this, who you should contact, and things of that nature, because it doesn't matter to me as long as that we're serving the community that says that that we said we were going to serve. And everybody doesn't have that mindset, unfortunately.
And you know what? Even as you're sharing, as both of you have shared that tonight, and I think you can both attest to this because you've been here. This is one of the reasons we brought you here to Georgia Works and let you take the tour. We want you to see what we're doing here. We don't. We know that what we're doing here is unique in its own right, but the uniqueness doesn't mean that we can't or we shouldn't partner with others or make things that we do available to others. We've been tasked with the fact here, and I've spoken to each one of you in different situations where I may have had a client or someone we wanted to refer, because we don't have all the answers to everything.
Right.
People need different things at different times and different situations. Maybe what might not work here at Georgia Works would work at your organization, would work at your organization. So I think people will treat this like there's a shortage of people to help. What planet are they living on? There's no shortage. There's a lot of people out there that need help. And while people are steadily being greedy and keeping things to the vest, I mean, how selfish is that? I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't get it. So I guess one of the reasons that I definitely wanted to bring you guys on here tonight is because I think you're both doing some amazing work. Now, by the same token, we're talking about collaborations. Everybody ain't a good network. Let's just tell the truth. Everybody
Right.
ain't a good network. You gotta, some people out there doing this thing for self gain. Some people out there not doing it to the level of excellency that you all are doing it. So I think that's some of the reasons why some people keep it close to the vest. Because they know if somebody comes in who's really doing something that's righteous, two things are going to happen. Number one, the people in there are going to want to gravitate to what's good and what's righteous. And then some of the things they're doing may get exposed. And that's kind of sad, because when it comes to human beings and lives, we shouldn't be doing anything less than our best. And I just believe that. So, Ms. Roberts, tell us now, if you were going to make some type of petition right now in terms of asking for help, what would be something that you would say would be an immediate need that you could have rendered to you right now that would help your organization?
Right now it's like I said, funding. Like because right now we operate out of apartment complex. So our ultimate goal is our own building, a one-stop shop. So we rent out units in the organization's name. We get tons and tons and tons of calls every day, but we can only assist so much, so many people at the capacity we're operating in now. So it's just funding when it comes to our ultimate goal, funding when it comes to, MARTA cards. We're on the bus line. So a lot of times, our guys need MARTA cards. Like we're out in the community and we make these partnerships and we network and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just funding in all aspects. That's how the program keeps moving, But we out in the community. We've been doing it for a long time, and we're solidified in the community. We're well known, and we have solid partnerships. But we're always out there looking to collaborate, looking for more partnerships. But yeah, just funding when it comes to just to keep the program moving.
Okay. What about you, Megan?
What Ms. Roberts said, funding is key. And definitely need that. One of the other things I've been exploring, I own a couple of my homes, and so what I want next is to own, just like what Ms. Roberts said, own a building. So I get calls all the time where they have a voucher. Individuals have a voucher, but they have nowhere to use it. So individuals are getting vouchers. Vouchers are being given to people. There are not enough housing for people to use it. So that's getting apartment building. That's being that landlord is willing to rent to individuals with vouchers. I have a participant right now who she has a HUD dash. He's going.
Yeah. Okay.
No, we're DeKalb County. Pretty big. I know.
Okay, you're going in and out. You're going in and out.
Can you hear me?
I hear you good now. Yeah.
Okay. I was saying a person that will buy the apartment building and house individuals with vouchers. So funding and just finding that building to house more people.
Okay, so let me ask you this: have either one of you tried to do any fundraising?
We haven't. We have not. We have not tried fundraising.
Okay. What about you, Megan?
No, and I said earlier, I was a full-time attorney. I just retired on June 1. So I have not been able to do fundraising, but now since Live Like Mike Homes has my full attention doing this full time, that's definitely something that we're thinking about coming down the pipeline.
Well, that's something actually I was thinking about. Like I said, there are a couple of other organizations that are not on here tonight, but some of you have familiar with the organization. Like I know Ms. Roberts, you're familiar with STEM. Megan, you're familiar with STEM, and there are a couple of other organizations. And I've been kind of thinking about us all coming together and possibly sitting down and thinking about doing a fundraiser, because like Dr. Frank says, and I believe this too. There's some people who don't want to do the work we do. Write a check, fund it. I'm not asking you to do the work. give us the resources to do the work. And I firmly believe, in all sincerity, that there are resources that are out there. There are people out there with money that they're looking to do whatever they want to do with it, but sometimes they don't really know as much, or you hear a lot about organizations that are doing things not appropriate with funds and so forth and so on. So it kind of makes it hard. But I'm a firm believer that when you're doing this kind of work to service humanity, there are people out there who want to take an opportunity and do something with the finances or even with their services, volunteering and helping us to do what we need to do. Another thing I wanted to look at tonight too as well. You talked a little bit about your women's program not quite being ready for housing yet. When will that possibly become available, and what do you think is causing that? Well, other than funding, I know funding, but what else has to come into place for that to happen for you?
Well, we did the women's program. We just put it on pause in June. It was open for 6 months. And so when it comes to women, the approach to women has to be a little bit different. So it's not, like I said, it's not done away with permanently. We just back at the table now, working out some kinks and the best way to assist women when it comes to housing, because women, we put ourselves last. We think about everybody else. So the approach to women just has to be different. So yeah, so that's all we're doing. We're just re-strategizing. And I'm a woman myself with lived experience. I'm formerly incarcerated, just as impacted. So I know that women can do this. We deserve a second chance, and we can be formerly incarcerated, and we can bounce back from what we've gone through. So yeah, but like I said, we're just rehashing some things. So it's once we rehashed everything and it's back on the table, fully open, yeah, we'll make that big announcement. But like I said, we still have the resources, and I still, when it comes to housing, I have other housing organizations that I'm in partnership with that I can refer the women to right now.
Now, before I go to you, Megan, I was just sitting here thinking about something, and I want to just kind of have either one of you tried or sought out any grant writers? Are you guys connected to any grant writers?
Well, I'm not a grant writer, but I did try my hand at a grant like a few months ago, and we did get awarded the grant. It wasn't a huge grant, but it was just because I am a writer. I wrote a book. I'm author of my story, Triumphant One Woman's Journey from Prison to Purpose, and I'm writing my second book. So I'm not a grant writer for say, but I did write that grant, and we were awarded that grant. But other than that, we've dabbled in grant writing and in grants. We're not against that. We're always looking for grants and grant writers to come aboard.
Okay, let me say this before we go to Megan. I don't want you to say that anymore, that you're not a grant writer. Yes, you are. You wrote a grant and you got some money. You're a grant writer. You wrote a grant and you got some money. It doesn't matter what the amount was. You wrote a grant, you wrote something, and you got something. And the reason I don't want you to say that is because I firmly believe this. And since I'm on this network, I can speak freely. I really believe that that's going to be one of the doors for you. Go back and write. Go back and write and pray over what you write. Go back and write and pray over what you write. Because I'm going to tell you something. While I know it takes people, I also know that God's hand is in everything that we're doing. And he is going to allow us to be able to accomplish some things because of what we're doing. Go ahead, Megan.
So we haven't applied for any grants. My godmom is a grant writer, so she said that she would help me, but still out there looking.
Okay, all right. Because I know for us, I know that we've been looking at starting to get some grants involved, and we're putting some things into place right now. So I know that that's going to be a key for us. And see, that the thing about the grants is, once you get the grants, that doesn't mean anybody can come in and tell you what to do. They give you some money now, they're going to trust that you're doing what you say you're going to do. But it's different than when you get federal dollars. When you get federal dollars, they ain't coming and tell you how to do what you're doing. And a lot of people try to stay away from that, because they want to be able to do certain things in a certain way and get things to move in the right direction. Talk to me about the teens that you might encounter, Megan. Are you encountering a lot of teens in the service you're doing?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Are you encountering a lot of teenagers in what you're doing? I know you say you do it from 18 up. Are you encountering a lot of teenagers?
Sometimes I do, and then for those teenagers, it's usually youth who've aged out of foster care, and so it's usually those individuals, and I typically
Okay. Okay. All right. Now, 35 and up. That population can be quite trying because when people have been in longevity in anything they've done, whether it be negative or positive, it takes quite a bit to turn that around. What are some of the things you guys have in place for helping men in that 35 and up sector to be able to get their lives back on track?
Well, believe it or not, 35 and up, and we even do, a lot of our guys are lifers. They're our best ones because they've been away and they finally get it. They finally get it. And they're, a lot of them, went to jail or prison, when they were younger, were teenagers, young teenagers. So they're coming back home now, 45, 55, 65. Our oldest client, he just turned 76 a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, so it doesn't, and that age, you know, it's, it, we it, well, what we do, we have a we call an intake process, a vetting process, because everybody isn't ready, and that's fine. Some people get it when they get it. So, our interview intake process, it's not 100% proof, but it works. I say 90% of the time, because we know we've been doing it for so long. We know what to look out for in the conversation. We know, it's just a conversation. We're not judgmental. We getting to know them, they're getting to know us. And we know the signs because we have been doing it for so long. So we kind of know when they're ready or not, when they're serious. Because once that, we just don't offer a bed, we walk side by side. We don't call them our clients, we call them our housing guests, because they are a
Ooh.
housing guest. They're people. So we walk side by side with them. And like once they say, well, I got it now, I know how to go in the bank and conduct my business. Okay, you go in the bank and conduct your business. But until they say they got it, we're side by side there with them at appointments initially, and things like that. So 35 and up seems to work with us. Like I said, it's like 90% it works in that vetting process, that intake process works. And like I said, we get calls. We go inside the facilities and we do what's called pre-release. So we go in and we're able to talk about our supportive housing program, so the guys know, what's out there. Because we find out a lot of guys don't know about the programs that are out here to assist. So we go in and do what's called pre-release, and we talk about our supportive housing programs that way. That way they know that we're out here in the community, and we build relationships with the counselors and things like that. So if somebody's interested in our program, then the counselor connects us, and we go in and we speak to everybody. We'll speak to a group that are interested, and then out of that group, once we explain the program, out of that group, if the individuals that are still interested, we'll have one-on-ones with them, just to find out their situation, because certain thing is confidential. So we don't hold those conversations in the group. And then once we go through that approval process, that gets the ball to rolling. And yeah. And if they get approved for the program, once they're released, they release to the program.
Okay. So Megan, take me through the front door of Live Life Like Mike, from the front door transitioning to your program. What does that look like?
Yeah, so usually it's coming from referrals, and now it's
Okay, I can't hear you.
can you hear me now?
No.
Oh,
I can hear you.
oh, you can hear
You
me?
hear her? I can't. I can't hear her.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I hear you a little bit, but go ahead. You can hear her?
I can hear.
Okay. All right.
Let me see if I can change my settings so I can come out a little bit.
There we go. I just heard you there. I hear you now.
Okay, so for it's gonna, I think my audio is it choppy now?
It's choppy. It's kind of choppy now. Hey, I've been through that. That's what I was going through the last couple of weeks when I was trying to do it at home. That's why I stayed in my office tonight. Reception here is better.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I can
Okay,
hear
but
you
Miss Roberts,
good.
can you hear me
I
like
can hear you
this?
Yeah,
Can you
perfect.
hear
she
me
said
good
we can
like
hear you
this?
real good.
Perfect. Okay. How we work and the intake works is that I'll get a call or a text. Usually now for like my transitional program, is word of mouth. It's old clients who have stayed with us, who now have apartments. They'll refer a friend and they'll say, "Hey, call Megan. She'll help you guys out." And so I will talk to them over the phone. I'll get to know them. I never accept anybody over the phone. We do have to meet in person and do a walkthrough of the house. I want you to meet the other people. I want to meet you. I want to be able to see and assess if you're going to be right for the individuals that I do have in the home. And if they are right fit, then we move them in for our transitional homes. They'll stay. We'll help them and support them with whatever they need in that part of their lives. It could be they've come out of reentry and they need a job. It could be youth who've aged out of foster care who now want an apartment. I had one guy who was a college student who wanted to go to law school. And so I gave him tips about the LSAT and preparing for law school and things of that nature. Um, for our recovery homes, it's usually a referral from PAD, usually a referral from accountability court. And then usually those are assessed by those organizations, but they also come to us and they're assessed by us as well. And those services are usually outsourced and provided by whatever partnership we are working with. For example, accountability court, if they're sending their individuals to us, accountability court, they make them go in every day. They do classes, they do drug testing, they do all the things that they need. And then at our facility, we do daily meetings at 9 o'clock, where we ask the entire house, unless they're at work or school, or wherever else that they have to be at. We'll do our daily meeting where we talk just about whatever that we need to talk about. Usually it's an AA or an NA meeting. And then people go and do their outside program. And so that's typically how we run our two different programs.
Okay. So let me ask you a question then. So right now, this is for you, Miss Roberts. With the program that you have right now and the men that you have in your program, what are some of the things that you could see or that you see going forward with that you like to see improve in terms of what you're doing with them? Oh, here's what it is. Employment right. How do you handle employment? What do you guys do in order to get the young men, get the men employed? How do you guys go about that?
Well, I mean, we build like I said, we network. We go out, we're boots on the ground. We build the partnerships. We network, we build the partnerships. We visit staffing companies, we visit just regular companies and explain what we do. And we advocate for the guy. And we tell our success stories, and like I said, I have lived experience, so I tell my story, so that works for us. So once we network, we tell them what we do, and people are willing. A lot of people, like organizations or companies, especially staffing companies, are willing to take a chance, and give our guys a chance, and that works for us. And what I did want to mention is that you don't have to be in our housing to take advantage of our resources. So if you
Mm.
just need a job and you don't need housing, you can contact us, and we'll get you the employment connection. If you just
There you
need
go.
medical, you don't have to be in our housing to take advantage of our medical resources or any of our resources.
So see, we done already hit a collaboration because Megan, that's something. There's another point right there for you that you can be able to do in terms of getting work for your guys, for the people that are there. With the women's component for you there, Megan, what are some of the services that you'd like to see the women be able to have that they might not be getting right now that going forward you'd like to see them get?
Yeah, one of the things that I want to do for our women and truthfully our men too, is to provide more or encourage more therapy services. I speak to my house and most mornings I tell them, I'm like, we all need therapy. I need therapy myself, and so it's never something to be frowned upon. And women in general, and just to be completely honest and transparent, I never wanted to open up a woman's house, because I heard horror stories. So anytime that I would speak to mentors and speak to individuals, they would say,
Mhm.
"Don't open up a woman's house; it's going to fail. Don't open up a woman's house. Women are difficult. Don't do it." So we have 12 homes; only two are for women, because I was told not to do it. I was so discouraged in doing it. In January, I was like, "Okay, God, I'm gonna have to trust you on this one." You know, I'm a woman. I want to help women. I know that it's going to be a different level of care and need that we have because, like Miss Roberts says, we put the world on our shoulders. You know, especially Black women, like even in corporate America and all these things, we put the world on our shoulders. And I'm always asking, why are we dying first? Why are we doing this first? And why we have all these health issues is because we're taking care of everybody else and not ourselves. So I think for women, in particular, I think we need more services just in general for women, and I do think, you know, what I want to focus on this year and going into next year is how do I get the women in my house to agree to go to therapy? How do I get them to go and speak to other people about what's going on in their lives, what type of trauma is going on, or what has happened? And then also opening up more homes. You know, again, there's not enough resources for women. There's not enough homes for women. It also comes with women with children. There are not enough spaces where it's safe for women to bring their children. So organizations typically think it's just easier to open it up for men. But just focusing on me and my women is getting them more help on whatever trauma that has happened in their lives and allowing them just to focus on themselves, get them through what they're going through um, before they start going back and pouring out into helping this person and that person. I need them just to focus on themselves.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Now here's the $1 million question. This is the one I've been wanting to ask all night tonight. I'm about to, as my man, the late John Lewis used to say, I'm about to get in some good trouble. So how have you, or at all, have you been able to reach out to any of the houses of faith, any of the faith organizations to help you with any of your resources? Resources, basically, I'm talking about the church. Have you been able to reach out, and if so, what has the response been? Either one of you can go first.
Well, we have one church that we know one of the ministers there, and so they help out a little bit. They help out a little bit with martyr cards and things like that. But outside of that, no, we don't get much assistance or resources or whatever from churches.
Well, do you reach out to them? Do you try to make them aware of what you're doing?
Well, yeah, they know some of them know we're in the community. So we try to do like I have an echo in the background. We try to do a partnership, even with, like I said, our ultimate goal, where they had this program, you could do a partnership with a church. I think it was like state funded. But it was like, some of the older churches, they're I don't know. They When it comes to business, they're not up to speed on the business aspect of things, and they've been burned in the past where people try to take their land and do things like that. So a lot of them kind of like when it came to that, we tried to do that with the church, and it just didn't work out. It's a lot of trust issues and different things going on. Like I said, from them getting burned in the past, but we some churches do know that we're out there. We're not a faith based, although myself and my business partner, we believe in God. We're not a faith based organization, but we have reached out to some churches, but it's just that we haven't gotten much help in that aspect.
Okay. What about you, Megan?
I think I reached out to one church. I never got a response. However, I did meet a church leader, and he actually is very good at donating food once a week. So I have not been great about reaching out to churches, but the one church I have met, usually he comes to the house every week and he drops off food. He could just be associated with the church. He hasn't really. He said he's a minister, so I'm not sure if it's his church or if he's the pastor or anything, or if he's just one of the individuals in the church. But he does say that he works with the church and he is here on behalf of his church, and he does donate food to us at least once a week.
Okay. All right. So I guess right here for the next 20 minutes or so, this would be a good thing to do. So starting with you, Ms. Roberts, what is your vision for seeing your organization at its best with everything that you have a vision for coming forth out of it? What does that look like?
I mean, like I said, the vision is our one stop shop. We have it down. We've been doing it out of an apartment complex for all these years. And so, like I said, we get the calls. We know there's a need to impact and help more people, but it's just a one stop shop with the living quarters and the resources all on one at one location. And we visited New York, the Fortune Society. They do things on a grand scale. We don't want, and if it's God's will for us to get that big, yeah, we'll do that. But it's how that program is ran is immaculate. So we visit other states to see what they're doing, and we want to incorporate some of those things here in Georgia if we can. But just that one stop shop, owning our own building.
Okay, Megan.
Yeah, I think what it'll look like for me is being able to expand in Florida, go back home and help the individuals of my state. I know I love Atlanta. I've been here for now 7 years, and this will be home for a long time, and I enjoy helping the community here. But what successful look like for me is being able to continue to be successful here, continue to grow here, but also go back home and be able to do and replicate and expand, live like Mike Holmes back in Florida.
Okay, all right. Here's another thing I was thinking about too, and I know here at Georgia Works, we encounter this quite a bit, and we made some really good collaboration with some organizations as far as the mental health aspect. In regards to, we'll start with you on this one, Megan, in terms of getting mental health for some of the people, because I'm sure with the different people you get from different walks of life, that's a service that's needed. Is there something that your organization may need in that regard that you haven't quite got that you'd like to see be supported?
Absolutely. I would love a partnership like that. We've only just been starting with trying to get them therapy, and working with Chris 180 on that. But yeah, we definitely need even just an assessment. I would love for every person that comes through Live Like Mike Holmes, just get a mental health assessment, figure out what your baseline is, and so we can better help support you. So I would love a partnership and a support system that would be able to offer that to our participants.
Okay. How about you, Ms. Roberts?
Well, right now, we're not staffed to take the higher level mental health. So, if a individual has a little bit of depression or an anxiety, they would be a fit for our program. But we want to set people. We don't want to set them up for failure. So right now, we're not staffed for the higher level mental health. But we do with our medical. The medical covers health, vision, and dental. And under the health, if our guys need therapy or counseling or anything like that, they can get that through that 1 year medical that they get with us.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. That's good to know. Okay. So, and getting ready to wrap this up, basically, I wanted to bring you guys on here tonight to have an opportunity to give you some exposure for what you do. I'm sure you've all been doing your own, networking, as you've said so many times tonight, to get things done. But I'm a firm believer that, media, and believe me, I'm not a guy who was up on media that much. I got like this through Dr. Frank. I mean, once I partnered with him, then, and I think that one of the things that I want to see happen or come out of all of this, and I'll talk to both of you at a later date about this. I want to do a fundraiser. I really do. I want to get together with people, sit down, let's brainstorm, because I don't want to believe that, these kind of services have to remain anemic. I believe that there's money out there that people want to do good things with. Now, to speak to what you said, Ms. Roberts, it's a trust factor, no doubt about it. There have been a lot of people out here who have done things that were not correct. But yet and still, there are righteous organizations out here, like these two right here. You're doing things to try to help people. So I'm an optimist. I'm of the mindset and hope that, and even when it comes to the churches, now, for my ministry outside of Georgia Works, what I do, which is Heart of the Father's ministry, we've been blessed to have, people who contribute, and we're about to put our feet on the ground now and start moving in some directions to get, some things known. And I want you both to know that sincerely, as we walk through open doors, we will take you with us, because we don't think it's just about us. It's a team effort. You know, my bishop used to always say, if some do all, if all do some, then some don't have to do all. And anybody that wants to be the Lone Ranger in this is crazy, because you're not going to last long doing that. The Lone Ranger always had Tonto. There was a reason for that, because it takes more than just one person. We've gotten to the point now where we were saying for a long time it takes a village. Now I'm of the fact right now it takes a nation. It's got to be bigger than a village now. It's got to be bigger than that. It's going to take a nation. And I think, nations are built by city, city by city, neighborhood by neighborhood. So these are cities right now that we're looking at. And I just believe that if we put them together, we can get something very grand out of it. Let me ask you this. I'm just sitting here brainstorming, but what I would suggest to both of you, when you get a chance tomorrow, start looking up companies. Just go in and just look up companies that do grants for what you do. There are a lot of companies out there, 500, Fortune 500 companies, who give away money. They do. They do. And I'm telling you what I know, because I've had some people do it and get some pretty good money for it. So start there. I know you're doing everything in your communities, and we'll keep doing that. And my prayer will be that some of these mega households of faith might see this and say, hey, can we partner with you? Because I'm going to tell you something. The church is a great resource. It's probably the richest resource, truthfully, that you can get on different levels. The question is to the degree that people just want to engage things. And I mean, if you a lot of our issues and things that you guys are dealing with day to day, I'm not saying no churches do it, but most churches aren't doing it. They're not doing it. And I'm not saying that they're bad because they're not doing it. Maybe they're not equipped. Maybe they don't have people in there to do it. But if you don't, and you got people in your congregation who got family members who are dealing with it, why not support it? See, you can't tell me that ain't happening. I know it is. I'm in the church sector. I talk to people. I counsel people. People out there, if it ain't you, it's your cousin or your uncle or your aunt. Somebody need help. So why not support it?
Right.
And I don't know. I guess me and God, we just on this thing right now. He told me to do this tonight, and that's why I did it. And the collaboration is going to get bigger. Now, what you said tonight, Miss Robert, you said you go to these things, people say collaborate, and then when it's over with, nothing's done. I've been a part of a lot of those. That's not what we're going to do right here. I'm asking God to keep it alive in my heart. So anything that I'm doing that I get an open door to, I'm going to let you know. And Megan will attest to that. I've been talking to her and helping her. And I'm going to help you both, because I just believe that when it's a lot out there that's still untapped and untouched, that can be got. So I want to applaud you ladies for what you do. I think you're awesome in what you do. I'm happy to have made your acquaintance. And, I will publicly say it right here, right now. All of my gifts, talents, and resources and anything else I can do are available to you to help you to get your organizations where, you want them to go. Dr. Frank, if you're still around, if you want to come back on now, we're pretty much done here. This has been good, though. This has been good. Okay, I don't know where he's at. Well, why are we waiting for him? Oh, you said you went out of state. Did I hear you say earlier tonight you're thinking about doing something in Florida?
Yes, definitely. I want to expand in Florida. That's where I'm from, Jacksonville, Florida. So, yeah, Jacksonville, look out for me. I'm going to be back home soon doing what I'm doing here, live like Mike Holmes. So definitely want to go back to Florida and expand it.
Okay. And I was just thinking about something tonight for you too, Megan. I don't know if you might want to think about it, but there are a lot of organizations out there too who are different chapters of things that people who have lost children to drunk drivers and everything like that. That you might want to just start looking at some of those, because I can't imagine that most of them, some are pretty well funded, and I can't see why they might not be willing to, based on the fact that it was established off of that. I've just learned a lot about doing this. There's money out there. That's all I can tell you. There's money out there, and it's just a matter of getting in the right vein, getting with the right people who know where the money is, because somebody always know, as young people say, somebody know where their bag is. Somebody always know that.
You're right.
Somebody know. Somebody know. And I believe in this season that God wants us to have the tools and everything we need, because we're just trying to help a few people have a more better quality of life. And I know he ain't mad at that. So I'm excited. I'm very excited about what we're doing. Dr. Frank, I'm trying to figure out where you at, man. Where did they go? They just left me to this whole show. I mean, I don't mind doing a little bit of this. So what? Yeah, what happened to your buddy tonight? She must have. I don't know where she sent. Where did she want to send the information? But I didn't get it.
Oh, and yeah, since we've been on, she's texted me, but I couldn't reply to the text because we've been on.
Let me
So
see.
I'll circle with her once we get off.
Yeah, yeah. Just tell her that this ain't gonna be the last one we do. What we want
Okay.
to do at some point is do a follow up just to see how everybody's doing. But I do want to do um the fundraiser. I just gotta just try to figure out. Like I said, I want to get with a couple other people and just see what we can do. And yeah, we're gonna charge people to come. Yeah, we're gonna do that. It's their contribution.
That's how you
I don't
fundraise.
know. Huh?
I say that's how you fundraise.
Yeah, that's what you're doing for. And
Yeah.
you got history. You got things. You got your trenches in the community. You guys have history of what you're doing. You got to even and don't underestimate the fact that your time is short. It's impactful. You made a great impact, Megan. Believe me, I've seen a lot of organizations out here since I've been in Georgia, and yours is. If you ever get a chance, Ms. Roberts, you need to go and visit our organization. It's amazing what they're
Yeah.
doing.
So can you give me her number? I give her. How do we do that? Because I want to connect.
Well, you're right
Connect
there.
with me.
She's in the office.
Yeah.
Just give her your number.
Okay. Well, I didn't. Hold on.
Well, wait. If you don't want to do it over there, don't worry about it. I'll text it to her.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank
I'll
you.
text it to her. I'll text. See, you have to forgive me. I'll be getting excited. I don't know something, but I just want people to we can do this, y'all. We can do
Oh yeah.
this. We can do this. We
Most
can do
definitely.
this. Okay, here's what I want to do while we still wait for Dr. Frank. Give me your best success story, and then we'll come to you. What was your best success story?
You starting with me first?
Yep, with you.
Oh, when it
With
comes
you.
to our housing guests.
Yes.
Okay, the best success story. Well, our best success story was a gentleman. He left the program. It's probably going on 2 years ago now. He left the program. He entered the program. He stayed in about a year, and he ended up getting his own place because that's our ultimate goal for you to gain your independence back. So, yeah, he went. He used the resources like we tell the guys when we pitch the program. You got to put in the work. We come with the housing. We come with the resources, but you have to put in the work. You have to work the tools we put in the toolkit. This guy is successful. He got his own place. And the reason that they gave him his own place because, we referred him and they saw that he did great in the program. So he's still working the same job. He's very successful. He's been staying out of trouble. Like I said, it's been about 2 years he's been out of the program. And what they do, they keep in contact with us although the program is from 6 months to a year, and then, at the end of a year, if they don't have their own place, we don't push them out. But it's a lifetime program. As long as you do good in the program or did good in the program, you can always reach back. So we have a lot of guys that reach back to just, keep us abreast of their continued success. But this guy is doing wonderful. He stayed out of trouble. He gained his independence back, and he's thriving.
And I was glad to hear you say that when you said it's a lifetime thing, because in actuality, I'm sure we would all agree that what we want to see more than anything with the people we serve is them eventually rising up to self-sufficiency, to being
Right.
able to go out and have their own lives and live their own lives. But I was saying to one of my guests, I'm going to stop saying client. I like what you say. One of my
Yeah.
guests here today, I was saying to him, I said, listen, this place is a place where you put a comma, not a period.
Right.
A comma, meaning at some point you want to move away from this.
Right.
But nobody's going to push you out. We just want you to be making constructive steps towards eventually branching out and doing
Right.
what you need to do. But I love it when
Right.
you say that they can stay there as long as they need to be. How about you, Megan? What's your best success story?
Yeah, my best success story is probably I had a young guy that came. He came from Grady. He had he said he had like brain trauma. He had never worked a day in his life. He was maybe 28, 29 years old, and he's never worked or anything like that. but just started to encourage him and minister with him. He went to CEL school. He's moved out. He's now driving and has a truck and making his own money. And so he went from saying that he could never work a day in his life because he had some sort of injury when he was a child to now he's driving trucks. He has his CDL license. He has his own apartment, job, everything like that. And this was done within maybe 6 months of him being with us and just telling him, you actually can do it. I know you could do it.
Right.
You just have to figure out what you want to do. And you have to change your mindset of stop saying, well, I
Right.
can't do this, I can't do that because of this injury or this trauma. And because the state has awarded you this money and saying, okay, well, you're disabled. Well, no, you're talking to me just fine. You seem just fine for me, and if you want more for yourself, you can go out and get more for yourself. And so he reached back out to me like maybe 2 weeks ago and was like, hey Megan, just letting you know I'm doing well, and still have my own apartment, still doing these things. And so best success story. At first it was hard getting to meet him where he was at. He was struggling every day. He had a lot of anxiety. Every single time I would speak to him, he would always think that I would kick him out for some reason because that was one of the traumas he experienced. People always kicking him out. But I was just there for him and just encouraged him. And so he's probably been one of my favorite people, and just extremely proud of him of where he is now.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Well, I'll tell you this one from Georgia Works. I can't remember his name. He was one of my guests, and he came into the program. He was battling alcohol, and he was well. First of all, let me just say this: I've learned this here where we're at Georgia Works. There are three types of people who come into our program. The first type is the ones who come in, they're ready for change. You don't have to prod them, poke them, or push them. They ready to get it done. And they come in and they hit the ground running to do what they need to do to get better. Then there's the second set that comes in. Now, these are the guys who know they need to make some changes, but they're not sure to what extent they're going to change or how to change. Then there's that third set. Those are the ones who come in wanting to hide from the choices or the consequences, or they don't want the consequences for the choices that they've made outside. So they hope they can come in and stay under the radar long enough so they can go back out there and try that insanity again. So we've learned over the years how to recognize those. But my guess, he came in, he had a problem with alcohol, but he was determined he wanted to get his family back. He was separated from his wife. By the time he graduated the program, he was restored to his family, and he now works at I can't remember the name of the resort, but it's here in Georgia. It's up in the mountains too. Very nice resort. He's the head director of food services there. He left here making $100,000 a year. Yeah, that's probably the best success story we've had coming out of Georgia Works. Major, major. So I know that these kind of services work, when people are given an opportunity and held up and just given hope that there's nothing that